Good afternoon. It is Sunday, May 31st, 2020. This is Arman, and I just felt it would be a good time to put a message out there. A couple of months ago, at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, I put out a video message and a blog titled Message to Humanity, which discussed what it is we could learn as a collective as well as individually from this situation. How we could take the quarantine and whatever our personal trials and struggles have been over these last 2+ months, or our situations, and find some silver lining. Use the moment as a self-reflection opportunity and make a deeper change in a part of yourself. I know that many have been doing so and have benefited from the extra time and space to themselves. I know that it has profoundly impacted my life in a positive sense. Doesn't mean there's not tons of challenges that I'm dealing with and facing personally, professionally. We all have that. That's always been there and will continue to be there in some regards. But how we deal with things on an internal level, how we process life, is the key. Fast forward to 1 week or so ago, the tragic events in Minneapolis, with a young man being killed unnecessarily by a police officer. And look where we are today. Civil unrest is nothing new in this country, in America, or worldwide. All of humanity, throughout all of human history, has faced oppressed versus oppressor, haves versus have-nots, landowners and lawmakers versus citizens. This is not a new story. This is not an uncommon or a surprising situation. Shouldn't be to anybody. Put it in the midst of the pandemic and the frustration, the loss of work, the practical challenges that many have faced, especially in lower socioeconomic areas, communities, families. Sure, there's going to be quite a deal of frustration and pent-up emotions. We're human beings. Master Jesus taught us quite a few things, as have hundreds and hundreds of other prophets that have come throughout time. One of the messages of Jesus, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Clearly, no human being is without some type or level of sin. If there are a few roaming the planet, God bless them. They are truly saints and children of God in the purest sense. Those beings do come here to set an example on occasion, to give the rest of us the opportunity to see what the ideals of God are, what life and the universe truly wants from us, how to live in accordance with the laws of nature, fairness, justice. What is justice? How does it influence our laws, our law enforcement, officials or workers, our lawmakers? Are we setting ourselves up for a harmonious coexistence of all forms of life, at least all of humanity? Clearly not. Clearly, our current systems fail us significantly. These are not little blips and mishaps where we've slipped up in a small percentage of the time. This is not about good cops and bad cops. That's a cop-out, frankly. Of course, there's all ranges of people in every profession. Doctors, lawyers, politicians, teachers. To just brush it off as good cops, bad cops is not dealing with issues at their core. All sides, all people have their level of responsibility, the ability to respond in a deeper way, with truth, harmony, justice, the true values, the essence of these values at heart. That is true responsibility. How we respond as individuals, each one of us, each one has choices to make. It's looking in the mirror, finding the judgments within yourself, of yourself and of others. For that is the root of racism. We all have some type of judgment of others. It's rooted in fear of the unknown. Judgment is that which we don't know and are therefore afraid of. Some are capable, either through natural qualities or upbringing, or their own learning and development, of facing the unknown with a curiosity and an openness and a level of trust. Many and most, to be honest, are not. So when we don't know something truly, when we don't understand it, our first response is often fear, distrust, judgment, prejudgment, prejudice. find the prejudice within ourselves. That is our work. That is the message that we all, every human being on this planet, almost 8 billion now, we have a beautiful opportunity now and always. Everything else becomes divisive. Us versus them, Republicans versus Democrats, whites versus blacks, Americans versus the world, it seems. US versus Russia, what many of us grew up with here in the 80s. Don't let them do it to us. The forces of divisiveness, those that seek to divide and manipulate, divide and conquer, an old school colonialist strategy that has worked in war, in politics, in sociology. It works in teams, in families, in communities. Black on black crime, gang violence, cops versus whomever. It's very superficial and it's very base instinct, animalistic. It caters to our reptilian brain. The great master philosopher Dario Salas Summer, my spiritual teacher, once said in a talk, referring to couples that had disagreements, if they could just exchange physical bodies and mental, obviously, exchange and live in the other's body for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, it would change everything and end all of their disagreements and discord. Because each one carries a perspective, a small fragment of the bigger picture, but is not able to see the whole picture. This is why the training of detachment and objectivity is key to anyone who wants to develop a higher level of consciousness, awareness, compassion, empathy, true empathy, to be able to be in the skin of another. Now, if I didn't grow up in a tough situation, in the projects, on the streets, which I personally didn't, how can I understand, truly understand the life and the mentality and the psychology and emotional challenges of one who has? I can, through a deep process of empathy, open-mindedness, collaboration, sharing of information, energy, emotions. I'm grateful to have grown up in a diverse community and have studied and gone on to live in quite diverse cities, ethnically and socioeconomically. And that has helped, as well as travel has shaped my worldview. Not to be in my own box, although of course I have my own history to work through and to reconcile within myself. Each of us has those imprints from the way we were brought up. So in parallel to working through that, or as we work through that, I encourage us to work with others with true empathy. It's hard to do that by watching the news. Doesn't matter what channel. Some information may be there, but it is too often skewed and agenda-based. We have to take back our own mental airwaves. We have to address and detach from this mental mass manipulation. Those that seek to inflame and enrage everyone by pouring gasoline on the fires at sensitive times where we need greater and deeper understanding of ourselves, of others, compassion. Renovation of our system, our systems, legal systems, political systems, economic systems. It's all on the table. Right now, 2020 has brought it. The most disruptive decade here in the first half of the first year of it is here, as per David Houle. Disruptive times are accompanied by disruptive measures, unrest, civil disobedience. Unfortunately, doesn't have to come with violence or any kind of true law breaking, but because of the fuel that certain darker forces look to put on these fires, as well as the entrenched, empowered ones. This is the biggest problem. Entrenched, old school power, financial power, political power. If that power were wielded wisely, we would be in a different place, and there would be a much deeper sense of harmony, understanding, collaboration in the world. Concepts like the American dream or whatever we envisioned it was or could have been, could still be. The ideal set forth by the forefathers in this country. And obviously there's many debates and doubts about how pure they were in all aspects in terms of the way we claimed this land and what we had to do, not just to gain freedom from British and European forces, but with the native population here and how we treated them. That's a whole another topic. But there was some good forefathers here, I believe. And the ideals that they set forth in the Constitution in terms of liberty, equality, social justice, the amendments that were made, of course, the abolishment of slavery and other inhuman practices, probably all took too long. But every time we seek change and to address that entrenched power, it's going to be a challenge. The way to overcome that challenge is with deep level of internal observation, increasing our own awareness and cleaning ourselves out on the inside. That is really all we can do. And from there, if and whatever level we're able to get to in our internal evolution, from there, from a more solid place, we can shine our light to our family, to our communities, to our friends, and slowly help deprogram and change the minds of others, simply by encouraging people to learn how to detach from the media programming, disinformation, misinformation, how to think for themselves. I respect those that are standing up and speaking out. I respect those that are in positions of social power through whatever fame or popularity or audience they've been able to build. Those like Colin Kaepernick, I know he has detractors as well. I don't know him personally, but I would like to invite him to speak on the Polymath Project, to get to know his agenda and purpose and heart better. Because purity, consistency, and depth are important. Not just what we say on these videos or other platforms or social media. That's the easy part. It's what we do that counts. No one knows for sure what's in another man or woman's heart. Although we can feel it. We can feel it. Some are better actors than others. Some may be well-spoken, eloquent, well-educated, but that doesn't mean they're fighting the good fight. Many such high-minded, intelligent, well-spoken, well-mannered people are on the wrong payroll, so to speak. Not God's payroll. Not the payroll of light, but the other one. We can usually feel that darkness even under the eloquent words, but our mind can be programmed. We need to find that quiet space that COVID-19 has opened up for many, or deepened for those that were already working in that direction. Turn off the TV. It's just poisoning our brains. Find alternative sources of information. Independent research. It's a tough word, independence. It's hard to define. But if we follow the money trails, we can usually nail it down and see what's at stake for who and how keeping people divided is a great strategy to continue with a pretty dark agenda. Keeping people, humanity, at the heart level, at the level of true brotherhood. Keeping it divided by race, color, creed, geography. How is it that based on geography of where we were born in the world, we should be divided and loyal to one versus another, just based on where we were born? All paradoxes and apparent conflicts can be resolved through truly higher thinking. But that thinking cannot be arrived at through an intellectual capacity. It is beyond the mind. It comes from somewhere higher, somewhere else. And only when we've been able to consistently access those higher planes will we be able to manifest that level of truth and that type of resolution in the world, in our own lives and in the lives of our communities. Each of us can be a problem solver, a peacemaker, a harmonious warrior of light. These aren't poetic ideals, these are cosmic truths. It's time to go deeper for all of us, for humanity. Together we can achieve many things that right now at this moment, which seems dark and not possible, we can. I know that we can. But it's going to take a true embodiment of the principles and values laid out for us by those who have exemplified God's will. Find that higher light within yourself. We all have access to the divine spark within. Surround yourself with others who carry such connection and vibration that you can seek to emulate or learn from. Read, listen to, and watch only that which resonates and leads you to that higher level of thinking. Not divisive shows where people are punching each other because it gives part of your own bestial instincts some type of fulfillment. That's like feeding yourself by drinking blood. It's time to raise your level of consciousness. These are just some ideas on how to do so. And it's more relevant now, and in the midst of these current societal divides, more relevant now than ever. Hopefully we can use the fire from this discord and all of the noise as fuel for unification, for unity and harmony, first and foremost within, starting with that mirror. You can do it. We can do it. God bless each one of us. And for those who have passed through these tragedies, God bless their souls, and let their families know that their lives were not in vain. We'll stand by the horrific tragedies and situations in which they were victims. And we'll change humanity because of it. We will not allow the dark forces to devolve humanity through these circumstances. No life is in vain. Only God understands the full-scale karma of each one of us and why we face certain trials and challenges. The soul journey continues for all, and there's a chance for everyone to work through their karma. It's not too late for any single one. This is the message for today.